happy odd year's nick to you all. The whiskey's flowing and the party's braw. Who'd have thought it? 250 years young, they say, and time for another Hogmanay. Oh, please, allow me to introduce myself and my story to you I'd like to tell. My name is Rabbie Burns. You may have heard of me in some of my turns. Poems, songs, you ken the stuff. I had a bit of success in my short puff. Aye, I was well kent for my work, and if you don't think I'm bragging, I was also well kent for doing lots of drinking. I tell you what, since you're all here, I'll tell you all about it for the end of the year. I've got about an hour before the actual bells. I could fit in a fair few interesting tales. Not everything you understand, but I'll do what I can. I've only got an hour and I'm a very busy man. A good place to start, to begin, at the beginning. You'll need to pay attention, you're going to meet a lot of women. I'm going to take you back to the Shire of Ayr, for you see my ma and pa both resided there. We're going back 250 years in time to the year of our Lord 1759. So, prepare yourselves, my lads and lasses, to see my life before you as it passes. I'll try to give you all the best bits, a bit like a Burns' greatest hits. Oh, would some power the gift to give us, to see ourselves as others see us.
To you. lass. I vow in protest that ye care nae for me, and whiles ye may lightly my beauty away, but love nae and never but joking may be. For fear that ye wile your fancy frae me, for fear that ye wile your fancy frae me. Oh, whistle and dial, come to you, my lad. Oh, whistle and dial, come to you, my lad. Though brother and mother and all should gae mad. Oh, whistle and dial, come to you, my lad.
Hello folks, here are 10 interesting facts that you might not know about Robert Burns, and we're going to count down from 10 to 1.
10. Robert Burns was voted the greatest Scot in 2009 by STV viewers. He beat William Wallace, Sir Alexander Fleming and Robert the Bruce.
Number 9. J.D. Salinger's famous 1951 novel Catcher in the Rye takes its title from the Burns poem Coming Through the Rye.
Auld Lang Syne is recognised by the Guinness Book of World Records as one of the top 3 most popular songs in the English language. The other ones are Happy Birthday and Oh For He's a Jolly Good Fellow.
Music legend Bob Dylan, when asked for the source of his greatest creative inspiration, selected Burns' 1794 song, Oh My Love is Like a Red, Red Rose.
6. Burns' work has appeared in hundreds of different television programmes and films.
In at number 5, when Burns' body was exhumed in 1815 to be placed in a new mausoleum in Dumfries, a plaster cast was taken of his skull for study. They measured it and they discovered that Burns' skull was bigger than the average man's.
Mr. Rabbie Burns was the first person to appear on a commemorative bottle of Coca-Cola in 2009.
A miniature book of Burns' poetry was carried into orbit by astronaut Nick Patrick on a 2-week space mission in 2010, completing a 5.7 million mile round trip and 217 orbits of the Earth.
2. US fashion designer Tommy Hilfiger claims direct descent from Robert Burns.
And in at number 1, after Queen Victoria and Christopher Columbus, Robert Burns has more statues dedicated to him around the world than any other non-religious figure.
Is there for honest poverty that hangs his head and all that? The coward slave, we pass him by, we'd all be poor for all that. For all that and all that, our toils obscure and all that. The rank is but the guinea's stamp, the man's the gowd for all that. What though on hamely fare we dine, we're hodden grey and all that. Gie fools their silks, knaves their wine, a man's a man for all that. For all that and all that, their tinsel show and all that. The honest man, though e'er so poor, is king of men for all that. You see yon birkie called a lord, what struts and stares and all that. Though hundreds worship at his word, he's but a coof for all that. For all that and all that, his ribboned star and all that. The man o' independent mind, he looks and laughs at all that. A prince can mak a belted knight, a marquis duke and all that, but an honest man's aboon his might, guid faith he mauna fa' that. For all that and all that, their dignities and all that. The pith o' sense and pride o' worth are higher rank than all that. So let us pray that come it may, as come it will for all that sense and worth o'er all the earth may bear the grief for all that. For all that and all that, it's coming yet for all that man to man the world o'er shall brothers be for all that.
Wee, sleekit, coorin' timorous beastie, oh, what a panic's in thy breastie. Thou needna start awa sae hasty, wi' bicker and brattle. I would be laith to rin and chase thee wi' murder and pattle. I'm truly sorry man's dominion has broken nature's social union, and justifies that ill opinion, which makes thee startle at me, thy poor earth-born companion and fellow mortal. I doubt na whiles, but thou may thieve. What then, poor beastie? Thou mun live. A day min icker in a thrave's a small request. I'll get a blessing with a leave, and never missed. Oh, thy wee bit housey too in ruin. Oh, it's silly was, the winds are strewn, and naething now to big a newn, a foggage green. Oh, and bleak December's winds ensuing, baith snell and keen. Thou saw the fields laid bare and wast, and weary winter coming fast. And cosy here, beneath the blast, thou thought to dwell till crash, the cruel coulter passed out through thy cell. That wee bit heap o' leaves and stibble has cost thee mony a weary nibble. Now thou's turned out for all thy trouble. But house or hold, to thole the winter's sleety dribble, and Cranrich called. But Mousie, thou art no thy lane. Improving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes o' mice and men gang after gley, and Leah's naught but grief and pain for promised joy. Still, thou art blessed compared wi' me. The present only toucheth thee. But I backward cast my ee on prospects drear, and forward, though I canna see, I guess and fear.
A fond kiss, and then we sever. A farewell, alas, forever. Deep in heart-wrung tears I'll pledge thee, warring sighs and groans I'll wage thee. we would have been broken hearted. Fear thee will, my first and fairest. Fear thee will, my best and dearest. Thine be like joy and treasure, peace, enjoyment, love, and pleasure. He fond kiss and then we sever. He farewell, alas, forever. Deep in heart and tears, I'll pledge thee. Warring signs and groans, I'll wage thee.
It was at a poetry reading that I first met Robert. My husband took me along as a treat. It was rather nice. We took along one of our chambermaids as well, young Jenny. Oh, she was a lovely young girl. Always very enthusiastic about life. She was never someone to hold back, and she always spoke up for herself. I think that's what I liked about her. I felt that she was destined for a life greater than the one she had. So I suggested to Mr. McElhose that we bring her along for a taste of some culture.
I remember when Robert first came into the room.
Although it was full of other people, and I was sitting right next to Jenny, who is by no means ugly.
And I was sitting right next to Mrs. McElhose, who is by no means ugly.
He
Instantly seemed to notice me. He gave me a little wink as he walked up to the centre of the room. Oh, I can't tell you how that made me feel.
And he gave me a little wink as he walked up to the centre of the room. I can't tell you how that made me feel.
My heart did a wee flip. Of course, Mrs. McElhose never noticed
Jenny.
a thing.
Never noticed a thing.
Well, thank you all for coming. It really is very humbling to see so many of you here today to listen to me. I'm not sure if I wasn't me that I would come here to see me, but you have, so thank you. I'm sorry, I'm really hungover.
Now, Robert has agreed to answer some questions from the group. So, does anyone have anything they would like to know?
It has been reported that after Mary Campbell died, you thought of moving away from Scotland. Why did you change your mind?
Ah, the best laid schemes of mice and men gang after gley. You're right. I had planned on leaving for sunnier climates. And may I say what a lovely outfit you're wearing, madam.
Oh,
Thank you.
you.
My life wasn't heading in the direction I imagined it would. I thought leaving these shores would be the best thing I could do. However, fate played its part and I decided to stay in Scotland. I was then introduced to Mr. William Creech here, my Edinburgh publisher, who assures me there is good money to be made from my work.
It's true.
Creech convinced me to add more poems to my earlier edition and publish what is now known as the Edinburgh edition. Thanks to you lovely people, I am once again enjoying life, this wonderful city, and its wonderful ale.
Mr. Burns, is it true that you write about real-life events in your poems?
Madam, real life is the greatest source of inspiration for me. I write about what I know. In fact, a poem I am currently working on, Tam O'Shanter, is indeed taken from a real-life event that happened to me on my return from a local public house.
Really?
Wheel mounted on his grey mare, Meg, a better never lifted leg. Tam skelpit on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire. Whilst hudding fast his good blue bonnet, whilst crooning o'er an old Scots sonnet, whilst glowering round wi' prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirkallyway was drawing nigh, where ghaists and hoolits nightly cry. By this time he was crossed the ford, wherein the snaw the chapman smoor'd, and past the Bucks and Meeklestane, where drunken Charlie Brack's neck bane. And through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters found the murdered bairn. And near the thorn, aboon the well, where Mungo's mother hanged hersel. Before him doom pours all the floods, the Dublin storm roars through the woods, the lightnings flash frae pole to pole, near and more near the thunders roll, when glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirkallyway seemed in a blaze. Through ilka bore the beams were glancing, loud resounded mirth and dancing. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae cotillion bred new frae France, but hornpipes, jigs, strathspeys and reels put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat Auld Nick in shape of beast, a towsy tyke, black, grim and large, to gie them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gart them skirl, the roof and rafters all did dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses that showed the dead in their last dresses, and by some devilish cantrip sleight, each in its cold hand held a light, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon the Haley table a murderer's banes.
I think perhaps we should be moving on now.
Well done.
He's right, I'm afraid. This is all very nice, but we're wasting valuable drinking time.
That didn't happen to you.
My dear lady, many strange things happen on the way home from public houses. Who knows? Maybe after a few jars of the Jolly Judge's finest ale, you may have a strange experience yourself, Miss...
Macklehose. Mrs. Macklehose.
Mrs. That is a shame indeed. With awestruck thought and pitying tears I view that noble stately dome, where Scotia's kings of other years, famed heroes, had their royal home. Edina, Edina, Scotia's darling seat.
Edina, Edina, Scotia's darling seat.
All hail thy palaces and towers, where once beneath the monarch's feet sat legislation, sovereign powers.
Sat legislation, sovereign power.
Marking wildly scattered flowers, as on the banks of Ayr I strayed, and singing low in the lingering hours I shelter in thy honest shade. Edina, Edina, Scotia's darling seat.
Edina, Edina, Scotia's darling seat.
With awestruck thought and pitying tears I view that noble stately dome, where Scotia's kings of other years, famed heroes, had their royal home.
Edina, Edina, Scotia's darling seat.
Edina, Edina, Scotia's darling seat.